Persona 5 took the world by storm when it released in September of 2016, and then again when the re-release, Persona 5 Royal, was released in October of 2019. Persona 5's fantastic aesthetics and engaging gameplay stole the hearts of JRPG fans all across the world. Another reason Persona 5 did so well was its heavy use of psychological themes. However, that topic has been talked to death, so today I will be examining Persona 5 through a sociological lens. Sociology, for the uninitiated, is the study of the development, structure, and functioning of human society. And today, I will be using the sociological lens to see how Persona 5 represents deviance. Deviance is when one's actions violates societal norms or the very law itself. Those familiar with the Phantom Thieves adventure will know how applicable this is to the crux of the game and its characters. While almost any of the Phantom Thieves and the people they encounter could fit into this topic, I will be focusing on just the playable character, Joker, and one of the main antagonists, Shido. To examine Joker's relationship with deviance, we must first look at how his story begins. Before the game starts, Joker stops a drunk man from harassing a young woman. However, instead of the drunk man getting arrested for sexual harassment, Joker gets arrested for assaulting the drunk man. Joker, having been wrongfully convicted, now has a criminal record, and is forced to move cities to attend a high school that will accept his now violent record. This is where the game proper begins, with Joker having to settle into a new environment while having to learn how to deal with the stigma of being a criminal, and a violent one at that. However, this proves difficult when word of his record is leaked to the student body on his first day, and he is labeled as a delinquent. This brings us to the first big concept of sociology, labeling theory. Labeling theory is the idea that whatever label is assigned to a person has a profound impact on how people treat that person. These labels can even go so far as to alter that person's self-identification to the label given to them. Labels have even been shown to impact a person's future. This is best shown by William Chambliss's paper, The Saints and the Roughnecks, which details two high school gangs of boys. One group, the Angels, who came from upper middle class respected families in the communities. These boys were seen as good kids despite their wild antics, which included drunk driving, harassment, and vandalism. The adults around them saw them as good kids with a bright future ahead of them and treated them as such. In their adulthood, the Angels were able to find good jobs and started respectable families of their own. The other gang, the Roughnecks, were from lower class families and were seen as troublemakers. The Roughnecks often got into fights and would steal. In the Roughnecks' case, they were treated as troublemakers and seen as not having much of a future, which turned out to be the case, as most of the Roughnecks fell into low-paying jobs and seedy business. The reason behind this, as argued by Chambliss, is that because the Roughnecks were seen as troublemakers, they were denied certain advantages that the Angels received, despite both of the gangs participating in similarly deviant behavior. For example, both gangs would regularly skip class. However, it was only the Roughnecks who suffered academically. This is because the Angels were able to devise a plan that allowed them to take advantage of the trust given to them by the teachers around them. They had figured out that if they came up with some sort of bogus school activity, they could get themselves and their friends out of class while never suffering academically. Now, one might be curious as to how these labels have such a profound impact on one's life, and this comes down to the concept of stigma. Think of a stigma as a trait that is assumed based on another known trait. For example, take a person who uses a wheelchair. One may assume that a person who uses a wheelchair has a hard time getting around and needs constant help. However, the person who uses a wheelchair can get around just fine and doesn't need assistance to perform their daily tasks. This is how a stigma functions. In the case of the Roughnecks and Joker, their label as a criminal makes the people around them assume that they are a bad person or even a violent person, which might not even be the case. But how does that make someone become the label given to them, as is mentioned in labeling theory? It is as simple as a person going, well, if they think I'm a criminal, then I must be a criminal. We see this in Persona 5 itself by the Phantom Thieves' outfits, as when they are in the metaverse, they take on the mantle of what they believe rebellion looks like. For example, Joker's is the outfit of a gentleman thief. This is Joker accepting the label of a criminal. And so we now see how Joker is labeled a criminal, is stigmatized against by his classmates, and then goes to accept the mantle that he is given while he is in the metaverse and performing his Phantom Thief duties. With that out of the way, it is now time for us to look at Joker's nemesis, if you will, Shido. Shido is the embodiment of elite deviance, or deviance that is achieved by one exploiting their power in society. Shido is a powerful politician and is the favorite to be elected prime minister in the upcoming elections. Suffice it to say that he has a lot of connections that he is not afraid to abuse. For example, it's revealed that Shido is the drunk man who Joker stopped harassing that woman. And it is revealed that he used his political sway to get the victim and the criminal justice system to say that it was Joker who was the aggressor, thusly making Joker a scapegoat, ruining his reputation, and allowing Shido's political reputation to go unscathed. And that is not all Shido exploits his power with. It is shown that Shido uses his power to mess with the metaverse, a manifestation of the collective consciousness, in exchange for favors. For example, a company wants to hurt their rival's reputation. They go to Shido and he will cause some incident that tarnishes the rival's company's reputation. In exchange, the original company will financially support Shido, resulting in a form of elite deviance called corporation deviance. He even goes as far as hurting innocents for his own gain. At the start of the game, there is a subway crash that kills several people. This is done by Shido messing in the metaverse. This incident allows one of his political allies to take advantage of the situation and further their own political agenda. And it is shown that Shido fully intends to use his power when he becomes Prime Minister. This would constitute as commission explicit state crime, or a crime that is committed by the state that is overt, purposeful actions committed by the state in order to reach state goals. Persona 5 is a game that is fundamentally about deviance and sociology, just as it is with psychology. And Joker and Shido are just the tip of the iceberg, but are very compelling cases. Joker being an example of a person who is stigmatized against for being perceived as deviant, and Shido being an example of a person who uses their power to support their deviance. Thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.